Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to the Today Show. Now we're going through this week like supersonic speed. It's already midweek and tonight is another Wellbeing Wednesday. Now our first guest this evening is an aesthetic doctor with an internationally renowned reputation for performing sought-after facial techniques with meticulous attention to detail. She is registered with the General Medical Council and is a member of the British College of Aesthetic Medicine. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to none other than Dr. Lamia Eltohamy. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Lamia. Thank you for joining us. Please take a seat. Looking very summery.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, mashallah. It's a warm day. It's right. This is the way we should be.
Yes.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Lamia. And Dr. 10 minutes, obviously, tell us a bit about yourself and how did you generate this interest in skincare in general?
First, I'm Dr. Lamia Eltohamy. I'm an aesthetic doctor in London for over 20 years. I have two clinics, one in Knightsbridge, one in central London. And I got interested in skincare from my patients, actually. Right. This is part of my care about them when they go home to complete my treatment. And they keep asking me which cream we should use. And then I couldn't find the specific cream that supply all their needs. So I decided to do mine.
Because of course you've developed your own range. But before I asked that, you said Knightsbridge and Selfridges.
Yes.
So do you have any famous clients who we might have heard of?
Well,
that you're allowed to say.
Yeah, mashallah, yes, I have most of the famous ones.
Oh, because I can imagine. I know Harley Street is there. You get some big people there. So we've got an expert here to talk to us right now.
I hope so.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you've developed this journey in aesthetics. Like you said, it's client-led. Clients had a need, and you responded. But you essentially you've developed your own range of products.
Yes, I did, actually. We did really work hard since 2017 with the best factory in Germany and the top cosmetologist professor. And we had the range very easy to use, halal, mashallah, and then inspired by the Nobel Prize winner formula, polymerase enzyme, which is called the use enzyme. And we went 2 awards in London in 2020 and 2021.
Wow, mashallah, amazing. No, that sounds quite complicated. I honestly thought when we were going to talk about this, I thought we're just going to talk about some cream. It could be any cream. But this sounds like a lot of research has gone into coming up with the right formula, really.
Yes, it did, because when a doctor do its own cream, it's passion, it's love, it's his name basically on the cream, so it has to be something special. And I meet people, I listen to them, what they need. So they told me, we don't want so many creams, we get confused, we trust you, whatever you say, but just make life easy for us. So I did it very simple, only 3 products, and you can use the 3 products once in the morning, once in the evening, and that's it.
Because, it's interesting to say that because I know you get different creams for different parts of your body, right? So there'd be a facial cream, there's a day cream, a night cream, then there's an arm cream, a body cream, then there's a suntan cream. So I know you said there's 3 specific type of creams that you do. So could these 3 cover all of these areas? Or again, is it a case of everything needs something unique and different?
Well, we managed to do the cream, 3 creams, cleanser, eye cream and face cream. Once in the morning, once in the evening, suitable for all skin type, for all age, for men and women as well.
See, now it's interesting you say men, because I know men. I speak as one of them.
Yeah.
We're rubbish. We're rubbish at these kind of things. We hardly, I've started to put cream on my face purely because my wife said, your skin's going horrible. In fact, I tell a lie. I saw her putting on the cream and I thought, this is working for her. So I tried. I put a bit on my cheeks and I could see that. So is there like a regime that you would advise someone like me or men in general that, something that we should be doing?
This is very common what I hear from you, because I have so many men in my clinic and they said, we don't want any confusion. This is our style. We want something really simple, works, and it takes less than 1 minute from us every day. And we managed to do that.
And is there a routine? It should be a case of I just apply something in the morning and that's it, I'm done, or is it just a case of, because let's be honest, what men do, and again, you just speak for experience, we wash our face in the morning, we apply, I apply soap, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, wash my face when I make wudu, and that's about it.
Yes, most of men do that. Actually,
Yeah.
you are good because you wash your face. Some of them that just take a shower. They don't wash.
Just get a bit of water on.
They don't wash like what this wash.
But then is applying soap to your face good then? Or because
Well,
soap
know
has
I
this
prefer actually. I'm not against anything, but I prefer more gentle cleanser.
Right.
That don't damage the superficial layer of the skin, which is the epidermis,
Right.
and make it really soft. And my advice to everyone, men and women, to use sunblock.
Right.
Even if they are at home.
Yeah.
And then ideally we should use it on the children as well from early stage.
Would you say that even if the sun's not out, or you just stay
Even
indoors?
if the sun is not out, and even in winter in London when there is
Yeah.
not sunny at all.
Right.
And the SPF protect you not only from the sun, protect you from the damage that happened from the mobile, from the laptop, from the lights here in the
God, of
studio.
course, yes.
It's just a protection. It's just a layer of protection for your skin. So you need to wash and then put SPF. This is the basic rule.
Right, because I imagine even when it's cold, because we get harsh winter, say if it's snowing or it's cold, that can hit your face. That can do serious damage. All right.
Still, you need to use SPF protection at least 50.
Now, I still like to think I'm very young, but I know at some point, with the grey hair, I'm going to start wrinkling. I'm going to get older. So not for myself. I'm asking for a friend. What's the recommendation to stop me from, or my friend from aging?
What to stop you from aging, protecting early, and then, as I said, you need to wash your face twice a day.
Right.
Once in the morning, once in the evening, and because we touch our face all the time.
Yes.
And then moisturizer, because you get dehydrated. Definitely, we don't drink enough water anyway. None of us. And then protect by sunblock.
Right.
So if you do this 3 steps from early stage, then you protect your skin. You don't wait until the lines appear.
That's
you
interesting.
start early.
The sunblock is so important. We really, I guess, as the darker we are, certainly as an Asian person.
Yes.
I remember when I used to watch the cricket and say Pakistani cricketers or Indian cricketers would put sunblock on, my granddad would say, why are they wearing sunblock on?
Yeah.
We've got a natural protection. It's almost like we feel we're immune to the sun rays because we're slightly darker skinned, but that's not correct.
No, not correct at all. Like no one is immune from the sun. We have to put sun protection for all the type of skin.
Yeah. Now another thing, we get a lot of questions on is dark circles under the eyes. And a lot of people get this. There's, of course, this cucumber remedy that people always talk about. Does that work? Does that do the trick?
Yes, of course. All that natural remedy, I really like it. If you can, if you have the time to do it.
Yeah.
But on the same time, we are in 2023 now. We have lots of technology, lots of devices, lots of treatment in the clinics as well.
Yeah.
And it can go completely, the dark circles can completely disappear.
Oh, wow. And what about things like blackheads? See, I know so much of these things. This is terrible that I don't know why I know all this stuff, but blackheads I know is another issue.
Blackheads, yes. Blackheads, it's pores that closed in the dirt or on oil. So basically, it's all about cleaning your skin.
Yeah.
So you need to wash your face twice a day, need exfoliation.
Yeah.
If you know that what is exfoliation of the skin is, it's just like once or twice a week. It's like really rough, and you wrap it on the area to clean it, and then moisturizer as well.
Now, another thing, because of course I'm talking about myself and my age. I don't want to give my age away right now, but now I'm thinking about my kids, and with teenage kids, a lot of hormonal issues, acne, spots. I mean, some of them would just pop them, which I want to say don't, and they're going to leave a mark. But, should they, shouldn't they? Again, should they be applying some kind of facial cream? Would that help them?
They must, yes, of course, especially the teenagers and all the hormonal problems. They must wash their face properly with oil-free wash.
Right.
And then use a special exfoliator every twice a week as well. And moisturizer all the time. And most importantly, don't pick up or touch the skin at all, because it might leave a scars.
Right. So if your skin is already oily or naturally oily, should you then moisturize, or should you?
Yes, you should moisturize. Yeah, you should moisturize your skin, any type of the skin, but obviously use the right one.
Right. No, of course. And what about if you have the combination type, like dry and itchy type skin?
Yes, sensitive skin.
Sensitive skin, yeah.
Yes, every skin has a special moisturizer. So you just use a right skincare regime, and then obviously if you have your aesthetic doctor, then you can ask him for your help. But if not, then you can do your homework at home and you choose the right one for you.
Yeah, and then I guess in terms of products that have been developed then, or certainly that you've developed, would you say the kind of, because I know you said there's a special ingredient which has gone into them, So is it that kind of ingredient and that research which really helps the majority of people then? Because I guess from what we're saying, there's so many different things that one needs to think of depending on your conditions.
Yes.
But then from your experience, is there one solution which fits all? Or again, is it a case of speak to an expert to work out what's right for you?
Well, we managed to get all-in-one cream. That's why maybe we took the awards.
Yeah.
So this cream is inspired by the youth formula, so anti-aging, so it doesn't make your skin get older. So it's better to start early as possible.
Yeah.
So we don't wait the problem to happen and then we try to sort it out.
Okay.
Plus we put hyaluronic acid, which is a very strong moisturizer in the cream.
Yeah.
Vitamin C, which is the first step of collagen formation for the fine lines.
Right.
And we put toner as well.
Excellent. So now we know that there's a perfect recipe. What we'd love to see is how to apply this.
Yes.
So I know we have your assistant Bhumi. Bhumi is with us. Bhumi, can we call Bhumi, introduce her onto the stage? Bhumi, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please grab a seat. Dr. Lamia, please take a seat. Now, Dr. Lamia, please, you're going to show us the correct way of applying, or feel free to stand, whichever way you're comfortable, of course. Yes.
I prefer to stand
please.
to show. So this, for example, the eye cream.
Let's bring you to this side. There you go. It'll be a better view for our camera there as well, inshallah. But please tell us what you're doing and
this
how
is the
to
eye
do it.
cream.
Okay.
We have a spoon to do that, but I can use my finger here. So it's just a little amount like this. Don't put too much. And you can tap like this and tap on the top. And then you start moving into circles.
Ah.
Yeah, to massage all over.
I like this. It's a very gentle process. I guess if you apply too much pressure, would that then cause damage, I suppose?
Yeah, just very, very gentle until it's absorbed. You don't need any pressure, actually, like this.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, very simple. Very simply did. I have to say, this is useful for me because I try that. I just end up doing these really rough actions. Because I just thought if I rub it, it's going to really go in. But
most of men do that. And then actually when you wash your face, I notice you take the towel and put it like this. You don't need all that. You can tap gently.
Tap. Oh, gosh. See, this is such a good segment. We need more of this. But please do carry on.
Yes, and this is the face cream.
Okay.
Okay, so the face cream will just apply really gently at this, like this. Are you okay, Bhumi?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And just massage. And then personally, I will show you this trick. I do this 2 knuckles, okay, and massage my face like this to lift it up.
Oh,
okay, 1 minute
upwards.
in each side, 1 on the cheeks, okay, 1 in the jawline.
Okay.
This is stimulate the muscles,
right,
and increase the blood circulation, so increase the absorption. So it lifts the face and make it really look nice. But as a man, you don't need to do all that if you don't have time. But women usually do that. And then on the forehead, I do that. And then on the neck, I do it on the bottom.
Gosh, because I guess the beard comes in the way for me on this part. Is the only thing. That's so useful. Now we also have this gadget. I've been intrigued by this ever since we walked in. Do tell us, because we haven't spoken about this, but I'm really intrigued to know what it does.
This is LED mask.
Okay.
It has a certain wave of length that penetrate the skin and they treat the problems.
Right.
And this is a home device, so you can use after your skincare. Right. Maximum 3 to 5 times a day, like most probably in the evening.
Can we put it on?
Yes.
Are you okay with that, Bhumi? Can we?
Yeah.
Yes. So what is it? Is sending a pulse through the face, did you say?
It's a light, infrared light. Can you see the light,
yes,
the red
there's
light?
a red light, yes, yeah.
Yes, so the red light just penetrates the skin in certain depths.
Right.
So it gives you a flawless skin, close the pores, remove the dark circles under the eyes, and remove some blemishes as well.
Oh, wow. So can I give it a shot?
Yeah, of course.
Can I try
it? Can you take it off, please?
I'm getting, really privileged treatment here. So why not? Let's give it a shot. Oh, wow. So the lights, I'll show the inside of the mask as well, so viewers can just have a look at that. But it's a whole load of LED lights, as we were saying. So these are the lights we're sending the pulses. Let me put that on, because I know time is of the essence. Here we go. Oh, wonderful.
You see, you have a flawless skin in no time.
I have flawless skin. It's working. I can feel this. No, it just feels. I just feel there's like this heat sensation, right? That's right, isn't it? It's a light, warm type of sensation. So what was it's kind of helping with my pores right now, I guess, isn't it?
Yes.
And what's a good time to keep this on?
There is no time, but I prefer in the evening,
Okay.
because you want to relax and then you can watch the TV for 3 minutes and then you just go to sleep because it's better not to expose your skin to the sun after any treatment.
Oh, fantastic. Well, look, I'd love to keep this on.
Yeah, you can keep it.
But look,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing that. That was extremely useful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Certainly helped me.
I really enjoy it.
No, thank you. And baby, thank you as well for joining us as well.
much.
Folks, it's time we head off for a short break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Today Show. Now, physical activity has a huge potential to enhance our well-being. Even a short burst of 10 minutes brisk walking increases our mental alertness, energy and positive mood. Participation in regular physical activity can increase our self-esteem and can reduce stress and anxiety. Joining us this evening to discuss this and lots more, a very warm welcome all the way from Manchester to none other than the founder of Fit Dad Life Mastery, the one and only, is Adam Kaan. Assalamu alaikum, Adam.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah khair for joining us. Is it a nice warm day in Manchester as well?
It is, yes, a rare one.
Sometimes I just look at that heat and think, if I just go out and just sweat it off, that's enough for me to lose weight. Would that work for me?
I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, sweating doesn't dictate how much weight you lose. But nevertheless, it's great for overall health.
No, absolutely. Now, of course, today we're talking about depression and anxiety. Now, is there a workout that can help with depression? Because I know depression is such a serious thing and it's like this deep-rooted in our mind. But can exercise help, or is there a routine that we can do as far as workouts are concerned that can help with depression?
There isn't a specific workout for depression, but any exercise that you enjoy and you can stick to will definitely help with depression. In fact, a Harvard study said that 15 minutes of running a day or 1 hour of walking can reduce severe depression by 26%.
Wow. No, why is that? Is that just because of, is there some stimulants which are being created as we're walking along? You get these, I was going to say melatonin, but I may be completely off of that, may be something completely different. But there's certain kind of, I guess, toxins which are released by the body. Is that what's happening when we're doing these activities?
It's the release of endorphins.
Endorphins, that's the word.
And even so it's either 15 minutes of walking or an hour of walking or 15 minutes of running. And other studies show that it can be as effective as antidepressants.
Right.
Now, if you perform more strenuous exercise where you're learning new motor patterns, so some form of weight training, maybe some classes in martial arts, boxing or anything like that, where you're learning a new skill, then you're creating much greater neural networks. So you're actually expanding your brain. And there's numerous studies to show that you actually grow your brain from exercising, and at the very least, you prevent its decline.
Interesting. So it's almost like it could be any form of activity. We know we're talking about walking in general. And I mean, I was just reading the other day how, walking 10,000 steps a day is the ultimate calorie burner just from a health and fitness perspective. But it just seems like having that kind of activity has multiple benefits, because in one respect, there's the burning of calories and health and fitness, but just from a mental well-being perspective as well, just having some form of activity, whether it be walking, even maybe just going, I don't know, for a round of golf or something like that, could really help.
Absolutely can. Of course, things like walking, although very good for mental health, very good for burning a few calories, it's not as effective for maintaining and strengthening your muscles, joints, and ligaments. For that, of course, you would need to overload your system with some form of resistance training. And once again, I may be biased, and I would argue that it has more far-reaching benefits, some form of resistance training. But again, we don't want to create barriers for people. And the best form I would recommend, and I recommend to clients, the best form of exercise to start with is just walking. Because the fewer barriers you have, the more something is accessible and sustainable, that's the best thing.
Interesting. So, of course, we're talking there about activity in general. But I suppose if we were in a healthier state, and let's say, I mean, I'm not necessarily having a fitness regime, but if we were fit in general, I suppose would that help us from an anxiety perspective as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially when you're doing any kind of exercise, it acts as a form of distraction. So when you are anxious, you've got all these thoughts going through your head, and you're worrying about things that sometimes might not even transpire. And you'll find that when you exercise, it acts as a form of distraction. Secondly, when you release endorphins, it helps you to cope better. Your mood improves. And thirdly, you'll find that you have much better and much greater clarity of thought. So even if you did have a potential problem, you're able to think much more clearly and resolve some of those issues. I mean, I experience that myself all the time when I'm stuck with business problems, life problems. After a good workout, quite often, whilst I'm training, I'll find a solution to the thing that I was worrying about or stressed about.
It's interesting because, I mean, I remember speaking to somebody about this and depression in general, and he was saying how somebody he knew, I think one way of what they did when they were in depressed state was consume a lot of food. They would binge eat. There'd be a lot of crisps, a lot of chocolate, a lot of junk. But then, again, I'm just thinking of somebody like that where they've essentially found a comfort in dealing with their depression. Now, it's not the healthiest of comforts. So how do we talk to somebody like that to say to them, listen, let's try and get you off that and let's try a healthier regime? Because from what you're saying, it sounds fantastic. We need that healthy regime. We need some kind of a fitness activity or a workout activity to get ourselves out of that depressive mode. But sometimes depression can take you down a path where you're not necessarily having the complete opposite of that, if that makes sense. The really question is, how do we get them away from that? How can we help them and bring them onto that kind of the health and fitness path?
Absolutely. So what you're saying is it's low motivation. When you're depressed, you feel very, very unmotivated. So how would you get them out of that? So I would use a technique called motivational interviewing, where I would talk to the person and look for change talk, and then kind of reinforce that with them. So see where they want to go, and identify where they want to talk. So because you can't force change on anybody, it has to come from themselves. And through the process of motivational interviewing, you can lead them to where they want to go. And in terms of coming out of that vicious cycle, you can start with something really, really small. So, and you can try and make it fun and engaging. Or even, if you're going out with a friend or a family member, just for a 10-minute walk, and start something that starts small. So you're shrinking the change. I think if you do it that way, it would be effective rather than telling somebody who's feeling depressed, hey, do you want to go to a Zumba class or a HIIT training session? It's too much of a big change, and the motivation required for that is very, very high. So you want to shrink the change so that the motivation required for it is very, very small.
That's very useful, actually. You're right. It's about taking those baby steps, really, isn't it? So maybe even if it's just a case of, as a friend or a family member, encourage them, hey, listen, let's just go down to the local park and have a little walk around that. As a means, because sometimes even when you're at one with nature, just having that little walk in a park can be so invigorating. You're in the greenery, and I mean, maybe with the sun right now, it's probably putting on a lot of people to be out and about. But certainly just having that company, I guess, could really help as well, right?
Absolutely. And even the vitamin D. Vitamin D is very, very strongly correlated with mental health and depression symptoms, things like that. So getting vitamin D, being in nature, smelling fresh air, all of that stuff will definitely help. And finding activities that you enjoy and that you can stick to as well. And like I said, sometimes you might have an activity that you thoroughly enjoy, but it might mean you have to travel for half an hour to get there. So that then becomes an obstacle. So it's, again, finding activities that you enjoy and something that is easily accessible.
And would it make sense to make a plan, maybe? Because I know a lot of people who are regular gym goers, they'd have a routine like this. I'm going to do backs, legs, chest, and they have this whole setup. I'll do cardiovascular this day, resistance training the other day. But would it help in those kind of stuff? Just make a bit of a plan to say, hey, you know what, we're going to book a time in your diary and say, for these 10 minutes on alternate days or every 3 days, we're going to do a certain activity, and just iron out a plan that way, perhaps.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. 100% you do that. You should have a plan. And I do this with clients. I tell them schedule it in. So I ask them like, how much activity do you want to do? What do you want to do? When are you going to do it? And schedule it into your Google Calendar. Even set up reminders. And the plan could be something as simple as 10 minutes walk at 8 a.m. every day, or 7:45 for 10 minutes, and then slowly the goal of that could be to increase that to 15 minutes, or it could be I'm going to do 3,000 steps, and next week I'll increase it by 1,000 steps, or try and do those steps in a shorter time frame. Alternatively, it could be if you're lifting weights and you're squatting, say 20 kg, I'm going to try and squat 25 kg by the end of the month, or to increase the weight. To increase the reps. So it's important to have your big outcome goal. If weight loss or getting strong, whatever, you have a big outcome goal. But even if it's just to increase your mood, if it's to increase your mood, you can track that as well by having a mood diary. So with my clients, I get them to keep a mood diary. So by having a mood diary, you can track your mood and see how much your mood is improving. But it's about having process goals, functional goals, and having outcome goals. Outcome goals being longer term in terms of months, but then having functional goals in time frames of weeks, and having process goals in time frames of a day.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look, Adam, thank you so much. Very useful, actually. I love that little summary at the end. Just have those little goals set up and go with somebody is the key thing. Look, Adam, it's always a pleasure to have you on here, sir. Hopefully we'll have you on again very soon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Well, folks, it's time for another short break, but stay tuned. There's still more to come when we return. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Now, for many, if not every Muslim parent, it is really important for us to instill a sense of faith and belief in Allah and His divine power, to build a confidence and trust in the Almighty that He is our true guide and companion through difficult times. Building an emotionally and spiritually strong child through Islam is truly liberating for both parents and children alike. Joining us this evening to discuss this is none other than the founder of Dadhood, our very own Mohammed Shoaib. Assalamu alaikum, Mohammed. Please take a seat.
Thank you so much.
I never thought I'd be sitting here interviewing you.
I know. Usually it's Aisha. What happened?
I know. You got a better looking version. No, well, we obviously she's the better presenter. We know.
No. We don't need to put labels on it.
In case she's watching, I should say that. In case she's watching that. Now, of course, we're talking about the development of spiritualism and the emotional strength through Islam with children. Now, how can that love of Allah help children thrive?
So you have this concept in Islam where you have your love for Allah. You know, Allah is there to take care of you. He's created you. He's given you guidance. He's merciful. Yeah. But then you have this other angle as well, which is the fear of Allah, which is, knowing that He is the one who is in control of things, and that you want to make sure that you come on the Day of Judgment with the best of deeds, not with the worst of deeds. So you have that fear of Him to kind of hold you to account. And then you have something in the middle, which is kind of that hope as well, which is kind of in between, where you're hopeful for His mercy, and you're hopeful for all the good that is to come as well. And that also kind of keeps you grounded and makes you kind of focus. And so having the love of Allah in children as a bit more than the fear side is something that children will thrive off of, because they already recognize from their own internal sort of fitrah, their natural disposition, that they have this God, this creator. And then when they love that God, they love that creator, they actually want to go and do good things. They actually feel like they want to engage in the good things in life. And so that can actually put them on a stable kind of footing to be able to
Sure.
go ahead and do what they want to do, knowing that they have this God around them that loves them and is not out there just to catch them out and
Yes.
to punish them, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I like that because and you're absolutely right in that whole love of this divine being.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting because you also mentioned instilling a bit of fear or having that fear of Allah as well.
Yeah.
I mean, does that help children stay grounded? Do you think just having a bit of that? Of course, we always celebrate the majesty of Allah and the generosity of Allah and the greatness of Allah, but maybe just like you said, having that element of fear, because at the end of the day, we do fear Allah. He's the only one we do fear, right?
Yeah.
Does that help in that grounding as well? For
Yeah,
children?
so you can't just have only love and hope in Allah, because that could then result in you not holding yourself to account. You just thinking or hoping that when you come on the day of judgment, no matter what you've done, that Allah will forgive everything. Of course, Allah is the most forgiving and the most merciful, but we have to prove that we deserve that forgiveness and we deserve that mercy. And so that's where the little bit of fear comes in, which is kind of sets us straight and makes us understand what our boundaries are as well, and children need that, because it's only so much that the parents can do. When they're young, the parents can instill their own fear into them, You want to discipline your child, you want to make sure that they listen to you.
Yes.
But then when they get older and they get past that and they're no longer under your wing, then who are they held accountable by? They can only be held accountable by Allah. And so you need that little bit of fear of knowing Allah can punish, knowing that Allah has set boundaries to help you stay grounded.
That's interesting, because just the other day I was thinking this with my son. I remember a time where I said to him, I asked him a question and I knew he told me a fib. So I said, "Don't lie to me, boy." And that's all I said. And he started crying. And that's all the tone I used.
Yeah.
I didn't shout, I just said, "Don't lie to me." That's all I said, "Don't lie to me, boy." He started crying. I'm thinking, I miss those days. Not because I'm sadistic and want to see my child cry. But it was that thing of, there needs to be this element of not fear, but this respect.
This awe.
This awe of, so as a child, the parent has that awe.
Yeah.
But you're right, now as a teenage boy, he's probably thinking, my dad, this old fogey, he was born in the last century, what does he know? But having that respect of Allah, the supreme being, that's what we're talking about, really, isn't it? It's having that, and it's just seeing that what the child had for the parent at a younger age, bringing that, because they need that at this age as well. There's got to be a fear of something, right? Have that fear of Allah.
Sometimes using fear, it can be translated wrong. It's sort of, we're not saying that Allah is somebody to be scared of in the sense that he wants to catch you out. The point is that we have that awe, like you said. I think awe is a better word to use. Having an awe of Allah, knowing that He's there, He's looking, and He set boundaries, and that we're conscious of Him in every action that we do. And we still, in that, we recognize that the overarching is the love, the overarching is the mercy aspect.
That's it, absolutely. Another thing as a parent I find is disciplining my children. Not in the sense of, do this, do that, but having some discipline in their life, having a routine. So could Salah be that thing of bringing that discipline and a routine into a child's life?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of studies show that children thrive of having routine. When they don't have that routine is usually when those kind of, you have that bad behavior coming out, you have the problems at school, you have the problems at home. It's usually because something has gone on in their environment that's taken them out of this routine. But usually when children are in routine, they're waking up at this time, they go to school at this time, they come back, they do this, they have dinner at this time, they sleep at this time. Usually that keeps you mentally stable. And that's the same for adults, right? When we go out of routine, we feel like we're all over the place. So it carries on from childhood into adulthood. And so Salah can actually be a means of creating a routine, because 5 times a day, you need to pause from what you're doing, you need to pray, you need to take 5 minutes out to do this. And if you do that from a young age, it sets that discipline. Because especially not just the timing, but the way that the Salah is performed, you have to focus, you look down, you don't look everywhere else, you keep your body in certain positions. And so all of these messages that come along with the Salah, the movements, the words, the time that you do it, the attitude you need to have, all set the foundations of discipline, so that can then apply in other areas of life for children as well.
Absolutely. And again, one thing that does come to mind right now is whilst we're talking about that discipline, and of course we're encouraging them to do their Salah, it's about learning about Islam in general as well, right? And I think sometimes as parents we think, oh God, my kid's got GCSE exams or the end of year exams or A-level exams, focus on that. And we're really encouraging them and pushing them.
Yeah.
But I fear sometimes we're not placing that importance on Islam. Now, no one's saying you know, become a mufti of hadith. No one's saying that.
Yeah.
But just having some kind of Islamic studies incorporated within that, I guess that would also help with the child's development as well, right? Surely?
No, definitely, definitely. You do need definitely that aspect. I mean, when it comes to knowledge, Islam doesn't say that there is only this type and that type of knowledge. Actually, Islam encourages for Muslims to learn everything, whether that's specifically to do with the religion or whether that's to do with anything else, maths, English, IT, science, etc. So, you know, the religion actually encourages to put that all together. And what that does is that gives the child a fortified mind, because they're constantly using their intelligence, no matter what scenario that they're in, especially when they're in the scenario of learning the religion. That actually, it's not just a cultural habit that I do, it's not just a family habit, I come to pray. Actually, there's a knowledge behind this that I've learned, there's a reason behind this. And that keeps the mind active, especially when they're engaging in religious activity. And what that does, that kind of intelligent, fortified, active mind means that they are more easily able to fend off any difficulties that come in their life, because they're actually using their mind, they're using their reasoning, they're using critical thinking. And, you know, when doubts start to come later in life, everybody starts to question things about their existence and things like this, right? When those things come, actually, because you've set a foundation of learning, it's not just my parents have to tell me what Islam is. Actually, my parents taught me that we need to learn about Islam. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find my answers now, because that's the process of learning. So it is very, very important to make sure we do that.
Now, of course, you're a far more learned person than myself. So
I don't know if I can claim that. I don't know if I can claim that. You've got. I don't want to say years above me, but you are older than me.
I was going to say the grey hair gives it away, but that grey hair is totally unrelated to that knowledge of Islam. But just on that point is, you know, I'm thinking, of course, we're encouraging our children to learn more about Islam. But are there any stories within the Quran or any examples within there that, you know, we should be encouraging them to say, look, you know, read this because that could help them with their own kind of emotional development, for example?
So obviously today we're talking about wellness, we're talking about being emotionally stable, we're talking about being fortified and having strong minds and, you know, stable emotions. And that Islam as a whole package does that. That's why we want to encourage our children to take on these habits, because it encourages you as you go into your later life to be stable in your own mindset and your own emotions. And so there are stories in the Quran that do encourage this. For example, if we look at the story of Luqman and his son. So Luqman is known to be like a wise man. Some say he was a prophet, some say he's just a wise man. Most say he's a wise man. And he basically, you see the conversation he has with his son, where he tells his son, you know, make sure that you do not associate partners with Allah. Make sure you are good to your parents. Make sure that, you know, and he gives a number of different advices in Surah Al-Luqman. And so if we look at that story, we can see how the father is encouraging the son and giving the son this kind of basis on how he should control his emotions. That the first thing to focus on is Allah. Then the next thing to focus on is the parent. And then the next thing to focus on is being good in one's character, and then making sure that other people around you are being good and you're stopping their evil and you're encouraging them to be good. So it's kind of giving you a formula on how you need to teach your child, making sure they have that kind of emotional stability.
And are there any examples from the Sunnah that exemplify this as well from your experience?
There's so many examples of how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with children. One of the stories that comes to mind is there was a young boy, I forget his name, but he had a bird. And he always played with this bird. And one day the Prophet ﷺ saw him crying, and he saw that his bird wasn't with him. So he went up to him and he said, you know, where is your bird? And he told the Prophet ﷺ that, you know, my bird has basically passed away. And so the Prophet ﷺ got down to his level, sat down on the ground with him, and basically just started playing with him. And rolling around with him and having a good time with him. And so this shows how he interacted with the children. He's very aware about their emotion, about how they feel when certain things happen in their life, and how he got to their kind of level and he helped them and he talked to them. So that's also an example that we can look at on how we can sort of speak to our children and make sure that we're recognizing their emotions basically, and we're affirming them and we're helping them through it.
No, mashallah. Shoaib, thank you so much. Some beautiful, beautiful points there. And I'm sitting here inspired. Mashallah, so alhamdulillah. That's what you're here for. And I look forward to having more Islamic guidance from you or parenting advice, I should say, in future shows as well, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair once again. Well, look, that brings us to the end of the show. I know it goes by so quickly, but look, look, a huge thanks to everyone who joined us tonight and to all of you watching at home. From all of us here at the Today Show, beg your pardon, have a wonderful evening. We're going to leave you now with Saif Adam's All You Ask of Me. Assalamu alaikum.
I always lean on you when life is spinning out of control. I leave my trust in you. He don't need me to worship, but I feel so out of place if I haven't honored my Lord at least 5 times a day. In the name of Allah, I will worship. In the name of Allah, we are free. Now I finally know my purpose. That's all you ask of me. My Allah is here with me, with the last words I breathe. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Allah is here with me. River to the ocean, can never turn back. I traveled a lifetime back, but the world was out of focus. But he brought me back. I pray I stay on track. He don't need me to worship, but I feel so out of place if I haven't honored my Lord at least 5 times a day. In the name of Allah, I will worship. In the name of Allah, we are free. Now I finally know my purpose. That's all you ask of me. My Allah is here with me, with the last words I breathe. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Allah is here with me. In the name of Allah, I will worship. In the name of Allah, we are free. Now I finally know my purpose. That's all you ask of me. In the name of Allah, I will worship. In the name of Allah, we are free. Now I finally know my purpose. That's all you ask.